Hey, what's going on, Potzilla? My name is Laverne Ross. I'm an artist and a native of Flint, Michigan, and this is my studio. And welcome to my studio. And we're going to take a little tour through it and explain to you what I do. And moving to my favorite piece that we call the games of life. Things have changed in our society now to the point that our children are like pawns out here right now on this game board that we call life. And I use Bible scriptures here to help drive that point home. And we imagine an infinite chessboard or an infinite game board. And we incorporate these Bible scriptures starting with the 2nd chapter of Ephesians, where it mentions the authority of the air and its effect on society. Who's the authority when we see things like this young man smoking a crack pipe? If he continues on this course, there are only 3 options available to him. The bullet hole indicates that someone's going to kill him. The poison sign indicates that the drug itself will kill him, or he's going to wind up in jail. Those are the only 3 options I know that's available to him if he continues that course. Then we have our babies having babies. She's about 13 years old, very pregnant, still playing with teddy bears and dolls herself, led out by the guiding light, or that soap opera or television mentality. Here we have our children with the guns. Now this baby has a .357 Magnum in his lap. But if you notice his Star-Spangled shirt, that indicates that's his constitutional right to bear arms in this country. But Matthew 24:12 says, because of an increase of lawlessness, the love of the greater number is going to cool off. Well, how does that apply to him? Well, in many cases, he ceases to be a loving little baby and grows up to be a gangster or a thug, surrounded by the all too familiar yellow tape, ambulances, and police in our neighborhoods. Then we have these 3 profiles here, or these 3 silhouettes rather. This one is cut out of a dollar bill. When we ask ourselves what they will do for $1 out there in the street today, and the question is often answered, anything. And this is why 1 Timothy 6, 9, and 10 is applicable, where it mentions the love of money. Then we have here, this silhouette doesn't have any eyes, because 2 Corinthians 4:3 and 4 says that they would be blind, or their eyes would be veiled to all the good news or spiritual warnings, scriptural warnings that's being given. This 3rd one has bright red eyes, indicating fierceness, because 2 Timothy in the 3rd chapter, among other things, says that in the last days, children will become disobedient to parents, unthankful, disloyal, and men would become fierce. Well, how fierce are they? What have our city streets turned into? A drive-by shooting gallery. Everybody out here is a target. The gangster, the little child, the thug, the little child. Everybody's a target today. And then we have the sex game, depicted by a slot machine, because it is a game of chance. When you pull the handle on this, what's going to line up for you? Is it going to be AIDS, good sex, or pregnancy? You have no idea. Then down on the board itself, and on the board game, we see the 2 figures, a young lady and a young man. Their feet are molded into like chess pieces, and they're moving into different squares. Some of the squares we see are raised and illuminated and giving them special meaning. For instance, she's moving into a square, Romans 12:2, which is dealing with the biggest problem that kids have today, which is peer pressure. Romans 12:2 says, quit being fashioned after this system of things. And you notice also she has her books in her arm, indicating she's getting an education. Those 2 things combined are forming a degree of protection for her against all of this. Her next move would be, Exodus 20:12 says, honor your father and your mother. Then John 17:3 says this means everlasting life. They're taking in knowledge of you. Right. So then after taking in this knowledge, Psalms 119:105 says, let his word be a lamp to your footstep and a light to your roadway. In other words, let it be a guide to them to live by. Then Hebrews 4:12 and 13 says his word is like a sharp, two-edged sword, exerting power. And we know that's the only thing that's going to deal with what we see going on in our world today. And back to imagining this to be a chess board or a game board. In the game of chess, the object is to get to your opponent's castle. But Matthew 6:33 says that in the game of life, the object is to get to God's kingdom. This young man hasn't made up his mind yet what move he wants to make. But just like any board game you play, when it's your move, your time starts. And in the game of life, it doesn't matter whether you're ready to move. It doesn't matter whether you even want to play the game or not. Your time is still running. I use female, male, black, and white because it transcends all boundaries. And that's the games of life. In summary, I'd like to say this about art, and as a bit of information for you young aspiring artists out there. We have to first of all remember that art is a gift. It's a gift from God. It's something that you really can't teach anyone how to be an artist if they don't have the talent to start with. Sort of like a musician or a singer. A singer is born able to sing, and they go to school and learn how to read music. And with art, it's the same way. You're born with that talent, and then you learn how to utilize the sciences of how to make compositions. And when we create a piece of work, we also have to learn how to protect that work. Whenever we create a piece of work, keep one thing in mind. If you sell that artwork, never, ever, ever sell total rights to that artwork. You don't sell the reproduction rights. The artist always retains reproduction rights to his work, to his or her work, I'm sorry. But unfortunately, living in Flint, it's really difficult for young aspiring artists to get out there. Not totally, but in general, Flint is a, you might say, culturally malnourished area. It's twofold blessing here. We have, in the past, had General Motors, which provided a lucrative living or a good living for pretty much everybody here, but it also deprived them of their cultural identity. And so what I say in conclusion to all you young artists, keep doing it. If you don't do it for any other reason except you enjoy it, keep doing what you're doing.